What's up everybody, and welcome back to the Aquamane YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to upload lately. Life has been extremely busy, but the good thing is we just bought a house and I'm going to have a dedicated fish room. Well, it's going to be more like a plant room. I'm going to be growing immersed and submersed rare aquarium plants and even have a little setup for a tissue culture lab. I'm really excited to share in future videos remodeling that room a little bit and setting up the plant room. I haven't been able to upload lately, but what I have been doing is keeping up on this tank, and I'm really happy with the outcome. I've been in the aquarium hobby since I was a kid, but I took a very long break, and about 2.5 years ago, I decided to get back into it. I set up a tank with fake plants, sand, castles, all of the routine pleb aquarium stuff. I think I saw an HC carpet on Instagram or something, and I wanted to do it. So I took everything out of my tank and made this aquascape here. About 3 months into it, that aquascape was covered in algae, filamentous diatom algae. I rolled with it for a long time, and then I got a 22 long rimless. So I set up another aquascape. The plants grew good for a while, and the same problem after about 3 months, filamentous diatom algae everywhere. I saw someone on YouTube with the same problem. He had filamentous diatom algae all over his tank, and he switched to reverse osmosis water and his problem was gone. So I was about to give up the hobby or get reverse osmosis water. I'm not saying reverse osmosis is the only factor that got rid of my algae problems, but I think it really helped because after 2 years of trying, I finally have a tank that's on point. But what I've learned through all this is, at least for my tap water, I need reverse osmosis water. When I turn on my tap, I can see a brown tinge to the tap water, and I've become a real water snob now because I'm drinking it too, so I can tell tap water when I drink it. And if you look at any saltwater videos, like, they have to use reverse osmosis water. I look at this hobby just like I would look at that hobby. I think it's just as much work to make a tank like this as it is a saltwater tank. So why not use reverse osmosis water for this? Just take anything out of the equation that really can become a problem. I know people who grow awesome plants in tap water. Their tap water's soft and they don't have whatever the heck is in my dirty city water or my dirty house pipes. I don't know where it came from, but I do believe that that was contributing to my algae. But don't get me wrong, I know people that grow awesome plants in their tap water. It's fine. At least for me, after 2 years, this is the difference. I mean, I'm not doing anything really different than I was then, except I'm not losing my mind now over where the hell is this algae coming from. So I've seen on a lot of YouTubers' videos, aquarium keepers, they kind of say, you know, people have these immaculate tanks, but they're cleaning them before every video, and it's not possible to have a really nice looking clean tank at all times. While I agree with that, I think it is possible to get a really great looking tank that you don't have to spend too much time on maintenance like this tank. This shot right here is from about 2 weeks of no maintenance except water top-offs. Now, I got a little bit of green algae on the side, a little bit of GDA, green dust algae, but it's honestly not too bad. And once I finally struck a balance after 2 years of, trial and error, the plants take care of most of the algae. Like I said, this is a shot of 2 weeks, no maintenance except for water top-offs, a little bit of green algae, but it's really, compared to my last tanks, I mean, I would clean those and literally 2 days later they were ready to be cleaned again. The whole toothbrush, spinning algae webs around my toothbrush nonstop, like, it was getting crazy. This is just proof to myself that it can be done to where you don't need to do too much maintenance all the time. But in this video, I'm going to be going deep with a big plant trim and cleaning the glass of algae and a little bit of rock scrubbing. Basically, what I'm doing on this tank is a big trim like this every time it gets crazy. It's not too crazy right now, but I want the plants to grow in different places. I want to try some stuff with trimming. The Ludwigia on the right side, I want to trim that so it's a little more bushy around the wood. And so this video, I'm just going to be trimming it a bunch. So my routine with this tank is a deep clean like I'm doing right now, probably once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Top off the water all the time. I got a nice little system for topping off. I'll show you that in another video. I clean the filter maybe once a month, once every 2 months, and I clean the glass probably every water change. I'm still doing weekly water changes. But what this tank comes down to for me is it was a lot of work in the beginning. I have an Amazonia aqua soil. As most people know, that leaches a lot of ammonia. I had to do a water change every single day in the beginning of this tank. So the beginning of this tank, I was doing a lot of work, doing water changes every single day, a lot of work up front, but now it's paying off because I don't have to do that much. Compared to what I was doing on those previous tanks I showed you, it's like nothing. Also, since my last video, I set up another tank. Completely neglected the tank. It turned into an algae farm. I let it keep going longer. It turned into a cyanobacteria farm, and that's just showing what a tank does without any maintenance. What I've noticed is what a lot of people's advice is to focus on plant health, nutrients, lighting, CO2, and finding that balance. But I did none of that in my other tank, so I'm treating that for cyanobacteria right now, and that should be all good. I'm going to do that tank again, only this time I'm not going to miss dosing nutrients. I mean, I didn't put nutrients in that tank for about, I don't know, a month, and just didn't do shit to it, and it gets really bad like that. I was dosing PPS. I was getting a little bit of green filamentous algae, and I upped that by 2, and that shit just went away. So I'll put my dosing schedule and dosing amounts in the description. I also added a Chihiro's light. I'm loving this thing. This is before the light, this is now. It's just making the colors pop more, and honestly I think the intensity is bringing more color to the plants. It's not just the light giving it more saturation. Although it was night and day when I put this Chihiro's WRGB2 light on here. Love it. I don't know why I didn't have one before, but now I got the 2 aqua skies that I had here on my other tank. My other tank's gonna be for shrimp, Neocaridina, and just farming plants. I want to collect some more rare plants. Right now I got some Ireo Q, Hyptis, Rotala macaranda variegated, Pink Flamingo. The rest aren't really that rare. I got Pogostemon erectus, Ludwigia arcuata, Rotala green. I don't know what variety it is. Bonsai, Rotala bonsai, Hermunculus, whatever the shit that is on the right side. I got some AR in there just for color. I got some Rotala Kramer in there. And I'm just planning on getting more rare plants. The HC carpet in here is taken off. I give most of that to the softer water that I'm using compared to the hard tap water that I was trying to grow Monte Carlo in. For me, HC has been easier than Monte Carlo, although my water parameters are way different now than when I was doing Monte Carlo, but it's growing tight to the aqua soil. It's not rising up too much. It's tighter in spots than others. It's creeping out. I actually have to cut it away from other plants just to keep it from taking over other plants. So I'm happy about that, to finally have an HC carpet, which actually brought me to this hobby, and I couldn't get it right, and now it's there. So I'm going to get into the maintenance of this video. I pulled out the driftwood, just gave the algae a nice scrub. This is kind of my maintenance routine. This is a little different because I'm doing a huge trim. I pull out the driftwood, scrub the glass, get that looking nice and clean. I'm using a magic eraser for that. I pulled out this Ludwigia arcuata just to replant it, and I actually took a lot of it out and put it in my other tank. I want to grow this more bushy. I'm going to keep cutting it as it gets bigger. I want to kind of have it bush into the driftwood, kind of like it's taking it over, so the driftwood's just poking out of it. The downfall of this is I can't take the driftwood out and scrub it when I need it. So while I was doing this, I was like, my HC carpet needs a trim, so I trimmed the HC carpet. I have a tube with the siphon going, so as I trim the HC with the scissors, it kind of picks up the leaves as I go. I control it with my finger, just put my finger on it, and then when I trim a little bit of HC, I let it off and then suck those leaves out. I took out the Ludwigia arcuata so that I can put in some Rotala macaranda variegated right there. That's the really bright red plant. I bought this from one of my Discord buddies. I love this plant. The color is awesome. I've never had such a red plant. So that's what I need in this tank more, is some reds, some more rare plants. So I'm putting in the Rotala macaranda variegated here. It's doing really well. I actually bleach dipped it for snail eggs, and it came right back. So I'm pretty happy about that. I also planted the Rotala Kramer over in this corner, right next to the Rotala macaranda. That's another reason I took out the Ludwigia arcuata, is I just wanted to make room for some more plants over there. Next, this Rotala green bush was growing like crazy. This stuff grows fast, and I just cut it out. I love it, but it's just too much of something that I don't want. I want to get some more rare plants in here. I kept about half of the bush, trimmed it down a lot, and I'm just gonna let that grow in. I'm sure it'll grow in a lot more in the future. This Rotala bonsai is growing really good for me. I wanted to move it back a little, so I pulled it all out and replanted it in the back. And I've never kicked up so much dirt in a tank before. I did a huge water change after this. This can cause algae issues if you're kicking up this much dirt. I had the tube in there kind of just sucking up dirt as I kicked it up, but it became too much. And I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna pull everything out. Try not to get it too messy, but it certainly did. I'm probably gonna need to do a filter clean here in a little bit. So when I was done with that, I basically threw this stuff randomly into my other tank. I just want to get a lot of plants in there to, you know, suck up nutrients, battle algae. So I just planted this all over the place. It's probably not going to be what's going to be in there like permanently. This is just to get this tank going. You can see there I got the air stone in. This tank's being treated for cyanobacteria right now. Shortly after this, I took that air stone out. I also got a Fluval, a Fluval 106 off of Facebook Marketplace for this tank. So this is just going to be, it has CO2, just going to be another high tech. And I put my 2 Fluval Aquascapes on this one. My future plans for this tank is going to be a shit ton of Neocaridina shrimp. I'm also not adding KH into this tank. I know that's not the best for Neocaridina. I might look into, you know, adding a degree or 2 for them. They're doing all right. I lost a few when I was neglecting the tank. Life got crazy, tanks got neglected. But my plan for this tank in the future is a little farm tank. Now that I have a Chihiros on the other tank, I want it on all my tanks, of course. But those Aquascapes, they did really good on the other tank, so I'm going to use them for this one. But yeah, eventually I want to make this a farm tank with some rare plants. I have Fluval Stratum in here, not the best aqua soil. This is kind of a test to see how it's going to do. And I'm going to continue dosing this every day, water changes, and just keeping up on it. Anyway, I just wanted to do a little update on the tanks. If you have any questions or advice, hit me up. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.